Hi, good evening. Welcome everybody. It's Friday evening, different night for us. Usually we're on a Wednesday, and this is an unusual, a very unusual um, live stream. Because if anything could go wrong this week, it has, and that's something to talk to you all about. If I look down, it's because I am streaming from my phone, which is um, unusual in itself. Uh, and the only way I can see comments, because I don't want to do a vertical stream, is to look down at my little screen at the bottom to read the comments. So if I'm looking down, I'm sorry, it's really rude. But first of all, thank you so much for showing up, even though I put the post out earlier to say it was going to be a little bit unusual. So hi Dave, nice to see you in, and you've already made me giggle reading your chat. Hi Kirsty, hi Rob, and a great big thank you to Jay. I did give her an out. I did say it's going to be a bit unusual. I've got to stream from my phone because of the circumstances have popped up. And I thought that maybe she'd like a night off because we're probably going to have a condensed live stream tonight because I haven't got access to any of my research, any of my links, any of my clips, or any of the things that I usually show on the live stream. So it's a bit of a strange one. So thank you very much. Just to explain, I had lots of little interesting clips. Hi Nui, nice to see you in as well. I'll just explain, if I look down, it's because I haven't got the comments on the screen, they don't show. It just shows me the, because the screen's so small, I'm on my phone tonight, it just shows me the username. It doesn't give me the message, so I can't see unless I look down. So I apologise if I'm looking down too much tonight. So I had all my clips lined up and all my links and all my research, and I had a lovely. We actually were going to have a panel show tonight. We were going to have some multiple guests on, and for one reason and another, that hasn't panned out. It's not all entirely to do with the laptop. Somebody's got held up in a traffic jam and other things have cropped up. But hopefully, crossing our fingers, I can source a laptop, and next week we will go back and have a proper panel show, a panel conversation type show, which would be really, really great. But I literally thought, because StreamYard, you have to be in StreamYard. If you come out of StreamYard, then it removes all your clips from your show. So I open up StreamYard nice and early to put all the clips in, and my computer opened in safe mode, and I couldn't get it to work or do anything. So I got my computer person, aka my husband, to have a look. And what appears to have happened is Windows updated last night, and the new update is incompatible with my computer, and the whole thing has crashed. And now we're wondering whether we can retrieve data from it. So hopefully we will be. I just saw the name Jenny pop by on the screen, just checking the chat. Oh yes, Nui, I've seen you on some other live streams I watch. Growing with Stella, I think, is one of them. But yes, Jenny came to visit me in Cornwall. We had the most amazing time. That was lovely. Yes. So I just saw that, literally the one line that I could see on the screen just said Jenny. Okay, brilliant. Yeah. Oh well, everybody's welcome here. As long as we're all garden, all Oh, sorry, my phone's wobbling. I know. Yes, you are in Cornwall. I saw. You messaged Danny. It's Danny. We were on a live stream with Danny, and you asked him if he would be able to swing by and see you when he's on holiday in Cornwall. So yes. Anyway, it's lovely to see you. So basically my computer's crashed, which is why it's all been changed around. It's a bit strange today. So I postponed the topic that we were going to talk about, which is ethics in raising food, and that will be next week now, hopefully, assuming I can get hold of a laptop and the guests are all able to come. This week I thought I didn't want to just leave you hanging, so I thought I'd show up and say hi read through the chat and give you a little bit of update on the farm, because the farm is also a little bit crazy too. So we made the decision that Kevin really needs to go and become sausages. That was a decision that was made. And we've had 2 attempts at loading him onto a trailer. The first attempt, he just wasn't interested. So we changed the trailer for one that had an open top, thinking that without the roof, he might be more comfortable going in. And he did walk up to the trailer and he got right to the bottom ramp. What sadly happened was he freaked out, got really frightened, don't know why. He turned tail and he charged me. He's never done that before. He's got a bit rough with smaller pigs, which is why he's going. He's meant to be a companion pig, and he is bullying the piglets and the smaller pigs, and the pigs that he's supposed to be the friendly companion to, then he doesn't serve his purpose. But he actually charged me. He knocked me down. He stood on me, which wasn't terribly helpful because he is a 200 kilo plus animal, but then he squealed and Ava came to his aid and she came charging up the field. Now, she wasn't aggressive, but if I hadn't got up off the ground, I would have been really seriously injured. Fortunately, he shifted his weight and I was just about able to get out of there. But to say I seriously, literally nearly had a moment where it would have been a very serious injury or life-threatening, possibly. That's more than 400 kilos of pig that were distressed and charging at me. And I guess that ties in with the topic of ethics in food. Didn't mean to distress any of them, and I don't know why Kevin reacted like that. He's been on trailers before and had food and been on and off and been fine, but for some reason there's something about this particular going on to the trailer that he just freaked out. He's back to his usual self. He rolled over for a tummy rub the next morning, and he's happy and placid. And he wasn't aggressive. He was frightened, but he, as I keep saying, whenever I make my videos, like, be respectful. Don't be going into the ark with the animals because you think you're friendly, you can get trapped in there. Make sure that you have an exit plan, exit strategy, and I would have had he not stood on me. But he can move lightning fast. If you see him galloping around his paddock when he's happy, I can't go in the pen until he's calmed down. So I learned a valuable lesson, which is even if you think you're being careful, be even more careful, be more aware. And the foolish thing was I nearly phoned my friend and said, if I don't phone you back in 5 minutes, they're literally the opposite side of the road to me. If I don't call you back in 5 minutes, come and look. And I didn't do it because I thought, no, you're being paranoid. And now I really wish I had done that, because it was so close to being a catastrophe, to be fair. Now, the issue I now have is Kevin needs to eventually leave the farm, because I don't want to have to manage an unpredictable animal. I don't think he'd be unpredictable as long as he doesn't get frightened by something like a trailer. But there's always that risk, and that's not a risk I'm prepared to take. And he doesn't serve the purpose, which is a companion animal now. So he will have to leave eventually, hopefully as sausages. I have looked into getting a on-farm slaughter, which could be less distressing for the animals. But that ended up ridiculously. We actually sat down and thought and added, because they said, it's £30 for this and £50 for that, and then £100 for that, and it all sounds very reasonable to add it up at the end. It looks like if he were to be butchered on the farm, it would be anywhere between £700 and £1,000, depending on what his final weight would be. I'm touching the screen because it went dark and I don't want it to click off. What his final weight will be dependent, because they charge butchery fee per kilo of hanging weight, and that it's just too much money. The other option I have is to have him dispatched, but then have him taken away as fallen stock, which feels really harsh and a waste and disrespectful to his life. So um, at the moment, he's safe. He's on the farm. I'm safe. I'm staying the right side of the electric fence for him, um, and it'll work out in the end. I don't know what it will be. But the other thing that happened on the farm this week, which I just seem to have this great luck at the moment. Um, when I put the trailer there, I left it open during the night so he could wander on and off the trailer, because that's how he went on the trailer last year. He's never actually been for a journey in a trailer, but he wandered on and off last year when the trailer was there set up for his sisters to go to the abattoir. So I left it there. But what you do have to do is switch the electric fence off. Otherwise, because the electric fence is going up to the trailer, you can make the trailer live and give them a shock. So that had to be switched off. And one of the things he did was charge out through the electric fence while it was switched off with all the commotion. He has eaten my entire main crop of potatoes. I seem to have a theme of animals eating my main crop of potatoes. Electricity is the only thing that keeps him in. So he's been through several fence posts. So I have some fence posts to repair and some fences to repair. And he decided he would have another go at turning up the vegetable garden. I just saw something about favourite food. I will go through the chat in a minute. So all those, my lovely update, as I was uploading that video, I wasn't sure whether to, because by the time I'd uploaded it, edited it and uploaded it, Kevin had already eaten all the beans, eaten all the potatoes, and trampled a lot of everything else. I did have a good look. He's got quite a small footprint. It's quite devastating where he has trod, but he's taken out patches of the sowings in the lines, but not everything. So I'm going to fill in the holes where he's compacted it rather than try and dig it out, and re-sow on top of there, and try and fill in the gaps. My onions have made it. He did get into the garlic for a while, and I think he squashed over the next, but I was going to tip them over soon to dry them out anyway. I don't think he's eaten any of the garlic, which is great. But anyway, what I'm going to do now is look at the chat, because there's been loads and loads of it, and I'm sure you're all wagging your fingers at me going, you should know better. We keep telling you about these pigs, which is true. Thank you very much, Jay. I see you've been putting people's links in. Oh, and Rob's coming to visit a week on Sunday. That would be really good. You look exactly where you need to look. You're awesome. Thank you very much, Dave. You do you, boo. I'm just going through. Yeah, let's talk about Pub. Scrolling through. I like Jay too. She's been on my own show. Yes, Jenny is brilliant. And I reminded her about the other day. She goes, I haven't been on other people's lives. I went, you've been on Dave's live. I saw you. I was there. Maybe you can call more. We could get together sometime, Nui. Scrolling through reading. Yes. Nice to see you in, Shawnee, too. Oh, I was watching. I'm so annoyed. I got in and I'd just given up on trying to fix my laptop myself and thought I'd wait for my husband to come and help. And I switched on and I just missed Shawnee's live by, I think it said 18 minutes. I was so upset because Shawnee's lives are usually at 3 o'clock in the morning for me. My time is the daytime one, and I missed it. And if I'd just given up on my computer a bit sooner, because I'm not technically minded, I knew I couldn't fix it. I could have watched and commented and been part of the conversation live instead of being replay through, but I wasn't. Yeah, Kevin, I still love you. I just got scared. She does love me, but just because Pig loves you doesn't keep you necessarily safe. Uh, Yes, so put his favourite food in the trailer to entice him up. I did. That's the way I always started, but he still wasn't having any of it. The only thing I haven't tried, because I keep forgetting, is to try apples. But I've tried all his other favourite things. He's not having any of it. And I still need to watch Kirsty's video from the first harvest from the Victory Veg Garden. I'm looking forward to that. That's on my list to do this weekend. And I still need to watch Bowtie live from Baker Creek as well, although I did watch from the Destin Garden Club, and the tours and the gardens there are fabulous. So if you get a chance, pop over to Bowtie live. There was a lovely lady, and I can't remember her name, who Janet pops to mind, but I could have got that wrong. And she gave them a tour of lots of different gardens, explained all the plants and the history and the story behind each of the gardens. It was really fun to watch. Yes, if you have any questions, Jane missed Shawnee's live too. So thank you all for being here. So the other thing, I had it all loaded up, ready to go on the laptop. I'm having a second go at the duck eggs. So when you get eggs, it really matters where you get them from. If you get them from somewhere not reputable, you can have infertility in them, or they could have been mistreated or mishandled. I think the eggs I got the first time for the duck eggs were infertile, which means one of two things: either the drake that they have there is good, or the drake is trying to service too many females, or it could be that they have such a wide range and roam around, the females elude the male and aren't getting service. But for whatever reason, when I was candling the eggs, I didn't see very much. There was nothing going on there. And I thought in my head, I must just be too early, or I must be doing it wrong. I can't have this many blanks, which was foolish of me, because I've been hatching for more than 10 years now, and I candle eggs regularly, and I know what a good candled egg looks like with an embryo in it. So I shouldn't have. I was like, oh, maybe the battery's running low, maybe something's wrong with my torch, or I just couldn't get it in my head that I'd have so many blanks. But only one of the eggs produced a duckling, which is really poor because of the 12 eggs. And even a poor hatch should have had 6 eggs hatch. But as I say, they just weren't fertile. So I've gone again with another 12 eggs from a different place, recommended by somebody who has had the hatching eggs from this place before, and I candled them, and I had the video of the candling, because it's a really good one where you can see all the veins and the little embryo moving around inside. But I can't show it, sadly. Maybe I'll show it next week. And I have, out of the 12 eggs, I have 7 which have embryos growing in them. So hopefully I can get some. Yes, one is better than none, but it's frustrating when you're hoping for more than that. So next week I will pop that video up of a candling with a little embryo inside the egg. It's really interesting to see, particularly if you're thinking about hatching, or you are just interested to see the developmental phases of that. So 7 out of the 12 are fertile, which for ducks, they don't tend to have such a high fertility rate as by touching the screen again. I'm using them blank. Okay, back again. So you don't have such a large, you don't have such a good fertility rate in duck eggs. It tends to be quite common. Different species have different rates. Do I know how to sex the chicks? It depends on. Hang on, let's just check I've got the whole of that question. I can't see it on here. Um, I don't know. I don't see. There's a thing on here, but I can't. From Rob. Yes, right. I clicked right there. Do you know how to sex chicks? It depends on which chicks they are, Rob. So I have one species which auto sexes, and the females are red and the males are white at birth. And those are the light Sussex females crossed with the Rhode Island red. You can vent sex, but that's not 100% all the time. You have to be very skilled at it. I don't do that. And then it's just looking out for behaviour. Usually within a week or two, I've got a good idea. Mainly from behaviour. You'll see the male birds will start, they'll walk up to each other and they'll like this at each other and they might puff their chest up. And as they get older, they develop into they'll bounce up and bump chests and bar box each other and have a little bit of banter. You also notice that their combs on the top of their head develop a lot quicker than the females. With the ducks, I'm not as experienced with that. I haven't hatched ducks in my adult life, but they become apparent quite quickly as soon as they get the feathers, because the drakes have much more colourful feathers as well. So yeah, feather length in the first week. Again, the feather length, you can do that, but if different breeds have different feather lengths, so you have to compare like to like. And I do multiple hatches. So last time I did Rhode Island Red, the light Sussex Rhode Island Red cross, and the Australorp. And the Australorp have longer feathers than the others as well. It's not 100% reliable checking the feather length. I tend to just use multiple methods for sexing them, but the sex links or the auto sexing breeds are the easiest for that. Right, let's see where I get to with the yes, I hate missing Shawnee's live. Yes, and I am. It is a short show because I am streaming from my phone and it's home screen and it's quite disconcerting not being able to see chat and not having any information or links and things. Evaluating sound colour. Yes. Imagine explaining the job role of sexing chicks from the vent sexing when you're well. There is another job. Turkeys, they milk the male turkey and do artificial insemination, and yeah, that would be, I think, a much trickier job to explain. I think, but yeah, I think it comes. Sexing comes from experience. You've got a pretty good idea once you've hatched for a while, pretty quickly about which are. But it's not a priority for me because my males, I've got dual purpose breeds, so my males get a good life until they're adults, and then they go into the freezer. The females go on either to be part of my flocks or to sold on castrating roosters. I think everything's internal. I think you'd have to, yeah, I think you'd have to do them too much damage to castrate them. It's not worth it. But really, the only reason you would want to sex birds at the early stage of life would be for the purpose of eliminating those males. And certainly the large companies that do the thousands of birds or hundreds or thousands of birds, they will automatically, day one, as they come out of the incubator, sex and then dispatch the males immediately, usually in a gas chamber, and then they'll send them to a zoo or a reptile shop or just dispose of them. But seeing as I've got a use for the males, I do that, and if I sell unsex birds, I always give people the option that, when you get to 14 weeks, which by then you definitely know if you've got a male bird, they can bring them back, and I will accept them back if they're male and they can't have any males because they've got neighbours that won't appreciate the crane or whatever. So for me, it's not a priority. It's nice to know. I like to separate the male and female as soon as possible because within that clutch of eggs or that batch or hatch of eggs, the males are usually from the same breeding group, and so they're related. And what I don't really want is them to get to sexual maturity, but they're separated way before that, and have possibility of offspring that are not fully genetically healthy. So that's the only reason why I separate them out. But again, once you've removed the male from the female for about a month, usually that they've gone back to being infertile and they will need a new male. So it's not too much of an issue. I'm just going to check the chat, and then I will very quickly wind up, just let you know about next week's live, and then I'm going to go because I don't want to just keep you and waffle at you because, as I say, it's been a bit of a tricky week. Where different career, I visited expensive businesses for the male liquid. So yes, I think the cost of the liquid for the insemination, so they put them in little straws and they get put in the dry ice chambers, so they get frozen, and then they get distributed to the farmers and they keep them in the dry ice chambers and deploy them when they're needed. But they now are so technical with that. The liquid goes to a laboratory and then they can check, and they're pretty accurate on determining whether it's male or female, and so they can artificially inseminate, and you can get heifers every time if it's for cattle, and then you get the different breeding lines. I personally prefer the old-fashioned way. There are all sorts of caveats. So if you bred a male bull from artificial insemination, you can't then leave him entire and use him as a breeding bull because you don't own the genetics, because you bought the straw and he has to be registered as the sire. So you'd owe the farmer that gave you the original straw that you used for the artificial insemination royalties for the offspring of your bull. I just think it's just another way to control farmers and farming, and who gets to have the money and who gets to decide the genetics and who gets to have. It sounds ideal to start with. You don't have to have the challenges of having a bull, but at the same time, then you're very limited in what you're able to do. So I'm not waffling. I think this live isn't a natural chat. It is, but I do waffle. I do worry that I'll bore you all to death. So I've got to the end of the chat. If anybody has any last questions, I don't mind what they are. I will answer them, and if not, then I'll give you just 1 minute while I talk to you about next week's live. So next week, so the Friday night lives are going to be at 8 p.m. Next week will be at 8 p.m. and the excuse me, clear my throat. The reason it was at 7 o'clock this week is because I had forgotten, and Jenny told me when she came to visit, which was ages ago, that she and Stella are having a live tonight at 8. Although I have texted Stella today to confirm that, and she hasn't got back to me yet, but she might have while I've been live. So if you are at a loose end 8 o'clock and you want to continue, right, let's get my start again, and you want to catch some good gardening chat, then Growing with Stella, 8 o'clock this evening, that would be great. Should be good next week, 8 o'clock. I have hopefully a panel. I need to find out who will be able to make it. And the conversation that we'll be having is all about ethics and raising our own food. And I think that would be a really good roundtable discussion. And you'll hopefully see some new faces and some new input. And yes, if anyone could imagine. Now, I am very happy because my wonderful husband has already found out the sort of computer that I would. I've not had a new computer before ever. I've always had secondhand and borrowed or somebody else's computer. And he has said, because I'm doing the YouTube and because I'm doing so much editing and because I'm doing these lives, he has, because we obviously I could spend the money, but we like to make large decisions together. He said, I can have the money and get a new laptop, and he has researched and he has already ordered me a new one, which is very exciting. So I'm hoping it's here in time for next week. Do keep an eye on the channel. I will post if for any reason that doesn't happen, and hopefully I will see you all next week. And so much bearing with me, and thank you so much for joining me tonight for this conversation. You're all fabulous. And something about the pub, I'm all in for that. You'll have to get Pete and me on when I'm in the corner. Yes, we will. We could do a live stream. We could do it from the pub if they'll let us. Or I'm hoping you're going to make it to the farm, and I'm hoping I meet your lovely wife too as well, Rob. Thank you ever so much, everybody, for tonight, and I will see you again next week. Take care. Till next time.